welcome to the first episode of the 52-week movie challenge.
Yay!
This was created by a guy, I don't even know who did this.
It wasn't me.
It wasn't me either. Wandering Tortoise put it out. Anyway, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be a lot of fun. It's basically a journal where you can put in each week you watch a movie. So each week on Saturday or so, I will watch a movie, and then Wednesday we'll put it out because like sometime before then we'll make it. Sometimes this will be on Zoom, through other people. I'm going to try to get somebody, a special guest each week. Sometimes Paul will be back. Sometimes Paul won't be back, So, other people will be there, but it will never just be me, I don't think.
And every week is a new theme, so check it out.
Every week is a new theme.
And you never know. Kind of fun, interesting theme might pop up for that week.
So the first one is Best Picture winner. And so I wanted to do a movie I'd never seen. This gives me an excuse to watch movies I've never watched before instead of watching the same stuff over and over again and then being able to do my little review. So I'm going to read everything that I put in here. Movie title was The Deer Hunter. Release date was 1979. Which it was, I guess it was supposed to come out in 1978 because it got Academy Award in 1979. It was supposed to come out, but I think it came out in February, so maybe it was just under the radar.
Michael Cimino.
Yeah. Aspect ratio is 2:35:1. Runtime is 183 minutes. It's 3 hours and 3 minutes long. Genre was war drama. Rated R. My date was 1/1/22. My rating is 5 stars. Starring Robert De Niro, Christopher Walken, Meryl Streep, John Savage, and many, many more. And we'll probably get into that a little bit. Michael Cimino was the director. Produced by Michael Cimino, Michael Dealey, and Barry Spikings. Written by Derek Washburn with, I think, a story by Michael Cimino and a bunch of other people. Music by Stanley Myers and John Williams. Awards received: Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Director, Best Sound, and Best Editing from the Academy Awards. Why did I choose this particular film? Because I've heard how great it was, and I've never seen it.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of movies that I haven't seen a lot because they're just too long, and it's really hard for me to devote time, or whatever to something. So that's a lot of what, and a lot of them are going to be on this show, by the way. Have you seen this movie before? Nope. Would you recommend this movie? Why or why not? Yes, I would to anyone interested in seeing a dark depiction of war and what it was like coming back from the war, Which character were you most able to identify with or connect with? In what way? So, it was tough. Because there was I felt at times there was nobody I could connect with. And at first. And then I was like, you know what? I like Stan. I always forget my shit I'm supposed to remember to bring. You know this too. I always forget this stuff. And there's a wonderful scene, and we'll get into it, but there's a wonderful scene where the boot scene, I just, love that. Memorable quote: "We don't belong here in the jungle," by Stevie. Were you surprised by the ending? What would you do differently? Yes, I was surprised. I thought he was gonna be able to save Nick, honestly, and I was kind of hoping he would. But I wouldn't change a thing. Have you watched any other Best Picture nominees? What were they? No, I hadn't watched any of them, the Best Picture nominees, and they were Midnight Express, Coming Home, which is another Vietnam movie, Heaven Can Wait, and Unmarried Woman. Do I feel like this film deserved the award? Why or why not? Yes, I do. I think it was an amazing and very well done film. And I don't really know anything about the other films. I know the only other one I think that probably would have been neck and neck with it would have been Midnight Express. But
Well, this movie has so many iconic scenes. It's really, really difficult to sort of narrow them down. But clearly, the Russian roulette scene is one that'll probably go down in movie history. It's one of the most incredibly tense scenes ever.
I've read a lot of things about the controversy concerning that they didn't actually, nobody played Russian roulette in Vietnam, and there's never been articles about it or anything. However, Michael Cimino has said that they do play it in Singapore, so maybe they do, whatever. Michael Cimino apparently never went to war, and he kind of kept bragging that he did go to war and stuff and lied and everything, and that got... Who does that, though? Like, I just, like, why would he do that? I don't know.
Artists are strange birds. They do weird things. What can you say?
I will say that if you're of my generation, not Paul's probably seen this Paul's generation.
Every year I've
probably seen this movie and everything. The first 30 minutes or so, or whatever, like leading up to everything, a lot of it's kind of slow. I'm not going to lie.
It's awesome, though. I love it. What I really love about it is that it bookends nicely with, say, The Godfather, where you open up with a wedding and there's like this big thing, and then, it's like a big family thing, but it goes in a very, very different direction. Same thing with The Deer Hunter. Opens up with a wedding, and it's, a small town, and it's very Russian/Polish, and they're all doing all their traditions, and you get the really good introduction of all the characters there. And then it jumps when they go to war, and it's a completely different situation.
They could have cut down some of the pool hall scene, and some of it, not all of it, because obviously every scene in the movie was meant to be there or whatever. But like, I didn't need to see them playing pool for like 5-10 minutes, of the movie. Like, if it wasn't, it felt like it. It was just things like that.
I liked it. I liked having more. So when you're dealing with a really, really good film, when you don't mind the fact that there's extra stuff. I didn't mind. I wanted to be around these guys. These blue collar Joes. It was
steel mill workers. I mean, if you haven't seen the movie, it's about a bunch of steel mill workers who, 3 of them are going off to the Vietnam War. One of them's getting married right before he goes off to war because his wife's pregnant.
4 buddies.
So 5 buddies, I think. 5 buddies.
George Duns is one of them too.
Yeah, and they're all there hanging out, and they all go hunting together and everything. However, Michael, played by Robert De Niro, he's his best friend in the world is Nick, who played by Christopher Walken. And
fabulous performance by Christopher Walken.
Yeah,
one of the best.
One of the best performances I've ever seen of his. And I saw Heaven's Gate before I saw this, which is really funny because that movie got more flack than this movie did. But they all both start out with dancing and kind of getting to know the characters a little bit before all of a sudden all this stuff happens. And I get it. Like, that doesn't bother me. It's just like after a while, I'm like, can we get to like something happening? And like the wedding, there's a lot that happens in the wedding, but it's like spread throughout. There's obviously this girl who's like in love with Michael. Michael's not paying attention. He's paying attention to Meryl Streep the whole time, who's Nick's girlfriend and everything. And there's stuff that comes back with that.
Yeah, and it's all setting you up for the tragedy that befalls these characters in the second half of the film, and that's why I really like it. And there's this great scene where they go into the bar and they're having fun. This is at the wedding, and a soldier comes in who's obviously on leave or has been in Vietnam, so he already knows what these guys are in store for, and he's not playing. When they try to be nice and give him a drink, and he's just like, fuck it. And they're like, what? And they're drunk, and they're like, hey, we're about to join you, and then they get really hostile, and he's like, because they don't know, they have no idea what's in store for them, and this guy, he's been there, he knows.
He showed them basically by not talking and being very, very, like, he was a very distant. And that's what happens to Michael when he comes back.
He's a foreshadowing of what Michael becomes.
Right, exactly. And Michael's at first like all fucking around because he he doesn't realize what he's getting himself into. And so what I also really liked is the deer hunting scene where he actually shoots the deer, which, did you know that they gave the deer a sedative, and that's how the deer fell down like that and everything? That was kind of cool to hear, you know, because I do not like deer hunting myself. You know, I don't eat venison. I don't eat deer jerky. I don't, because I obviously, I love the deers that are in my backyard, and I care about deer, but I know a lot of people go deer hunting and everything. I'm not going to tell them don't do it. You know, if you go deer hunting, go freaking deer hunting all you want. But
that's part of his character. That's what makes him, you know, one shot, you know, to kill a deer. That's his thing. But when he comes back, he can't do that anymore. He's a changed man. And
he can't kill anything because he just feels like, you know, it's just not the same as like how excited he was. Oh man, if I can hunt a deer, I can hunt people now and kill them. Well, and war changes people.
Yeah, his innocence is lost, and I think he speaks for that whole generation, for the whole country. We all sort of lost our innocence in Vietnam because, you know, we were grown up, you know, we were sort of brought up to believe very patriotic war kind of stuff. And Vietnam totally changed everybody's view of that because we got to actually see it for the first time. It was televised, and we actually got to see the bodies and the bags and all that kind of thing. And the movie really, really captured it at a perfect time. There was that time in the late 70s, early 80s when there was a bunch of Vietnam movies that came out, and they were all, for the most part, excellent, but very, very, very different. You know, Apocalypse Now was very, very different, and Coming Home was very different. It was really, really a good period, and I think that it was kind of an exegesis for what America had gone through in that period, and the Deer Hunter was just a perfect example for that. And Michael Cimino was able to combine it with this story of these 4 small town, just regular Joes who this is how their experience was for this period, and it was really, really amazing.
So we mentioned 4. The 3 went off to war together and stuff, and they got like separated at times and things like that and whatnot. But then there's the 5 friends, and 2 of them. One of them was played by what's his name, John Cazale.
Yeah, John Cazale. Oh my God,
he was wonderful. And he,
as always.
Yeah. Well, from what I've understood, every movie that he's been in has won Best Picture.
Just about, yeah.
No, not just about. Like literally every.
I think he was in one other one that didn't. But
you can look that up. The thing is, he died before being in like some other ones that didn't get him. He died after Deer Hunter, after it got.
What a shame.
You know, so basically he was a wonderful actor. He did such a great job, and basically he played this guy who's kind of this, you know, schlubby guy.
Yet another insecure, ratty kind of guy. It's just funny.
And had he been in the war, I think things would have changed him. Period. I don't think he would have survived it.
Yeah, he would never have made it.
And it makes me think I'm glad I never went to war. Period. I never would have liked it. You know, it's definitely not made. You know, and this movie definitely proves that. But the scene I was mentioning earlier was the boots scene, and that's just one of my favorite scenes of the whole movie. Is just him saying, "I forgot my boots. Can I borrow yours, Michael?" And you know, you got a spare. And Michael's like, "No, I'm done giving you shit." You know. And
every time we do this, you forget something. I forget my coat. I forget my gun.
Like, this is this.
That's it.
Like, what do you mean? This is this? What does that mean?
This is this. This isn't something else.
Yeah. Like, and it's just a great scene, but it showed how Michael was at that particular time, and even coming back from the war, he was even like on a darker path basically because of that, because he had seen shit that, you know, we'd only read about in books, you know, or whatever.
Everybody's a standout. I mean, Christopher Walken's a standout. Michael De Niro's a standout.
Robert De Niro.
John Cazale is a standout. George Jones is a standout. John Savage is a standout.
John Savage.
Meryl Streep. Oh my goodness, what a sin! I felt so bad for her character. You know, I just wanted good things to happen for her, and she doesn't even play like a leading role. She's more of a supporting role. But it was really, really, really well done.
Well, she just, like, you know, Nick Nick didn't come back from the war, so kind of Michael was there to comfort her, sexually and other stuff, or whatever. And
so there's all this extra stuff. There's that whole triangle going on too.
Yeah, well, and that happened from the very beginning. I set that up. I knew, I was like, oh shit, he's in love with her, which, he was already in love with her, and that's why there's this line that John Cazale has where he mentions that he what is it? That he sets up Michael with all these girls, and nothing ever happens. Nothing ever happens because he's in love with, Nick's girl, and so he's even promised to bring Nick back. So he has to go back to Vietnam and find Nick, and Nick's worse than ever because he's been playing this Russian roulette game. He's the American guy.
Because he doesn't care anymore.
He just doesn't care anymore, and it just shows you where,
Yeah, and that's the bookend part that's just so devastating is, he gets traumatized. I mean, literally traumatized. The three of them do. Not only just by the war, but by the torture that they get by their captives with this Russian roulette game. And then he can't get past it. He just can't get past it. So he starts doing that, because he doesn't care anymore, professionally. And he doesn't even care about the money. He just throws the money away. And it's, at a point where he could be saved. And just there when it's devastating when he you think he's getting through to him. And he gives him a smile and he picks up the gun and just kills himself. It was just, oh my God.
You thought he was getting through
devastating moment.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, and he kills himself and Michael's there just trying,
trying to hold the wound, and it's blood's coming out. Oh my God, it's just awful. But so many great moments. I love the scene in the when they're shooting pool and they start singing. That's another
you like
fabulous
that? That's
moment.
not my favorite.
Where they're singing Frankie Valli.
Yeah, they're singing.
That was awesome.
They're singing. You liked it, but I find it to be slow. I don't know. I'm weird like that. It's because I don't know who these guys are yet, and so that's not them singing together is not telling me that yet. So maybe on a second or third viewing I'll respect it a little bit more. But in the beginning, the first time, I'm just
I've pretty much watched this at least once a year since it came out. I think it's that great of a film. It's one of my absolute favorite films, and I just think about it. I'm like, yeah, it's just about time to put this on. And yeah, it's if I were to ever write a film, I mean, this is exactly the kind of approach that I would take. I just think that it's so well done.
Very dark and depressing,
but great character studies as well.
Yeah. I love the part where he lets the deer go, and because that just showed at that particular moment where he was at in his life, and just it just showed how hunting to him just isn't the same at all anymore. He's lost it, and he doesn't have his partner. He doesn't have his hunting partner. He even said that if he had if he didn't have him, he'd hunt alone and everything, and now he doesn't even want to hunt.
Yeah, and they're all changed for the worse. John Savage's character is really, really changed.
Yeah, well, he's crippled.
He's crippled, and he just doesn't want to live anymore. And his wife goes to Michael to see if he can help him. And
actually, she goes to her.
Yeah.
And he wants to find out where he's at because they went through shit. They were in and all three of them were in the captured and
the rescue is just harrowing. Oh my God, if you haven't seen it, I mean the thing where they're on the log and the river and they have to get rescued by the helicopter.
That was real?
Yeah.
So John Savage talked in an interview about how he was holding on. They were holding on, and at one point he kept calling them by Michael. He kept calling Michael, and he goes, and he was like, "Stop calling me by my character name, man. We're about to die," And that wasn't stunts. I mean, those weren't, and they were like, okay, should we drop now? Should we drop now? And they didn't know when to drop, and they were like, I think now is okay. So they let go, and it's just, oh my God, you can't do that now. Mm-mm. There's so many laws, and there's so many. The SAG would go have a conniption fit if they were like, oh, you're gonna put Robert De Niro on a fucking helicopter thing. And it was because Christopher Walken jumped up like quickly, and everybody else weren't able to get up there in time. And stuff.
Any one of them could have broken their legs. I mean, it was just crazy. Yeah, but and then if you're watching it just from a war point of view, I mean, there's a lot of really good battle scenes, some really intense ones too. I mean, it was not pulling any punches. It was just a really, really well done film, and it's very sad. And the music. Can't forget the music. The music is one of the best things. I believe that's one of the Academy Awards that it won. It was just amazing, amazing music in the film. It's fabulous.
Yeah, and it was John Williams did the main title theme, but
the guitar. I forget who did the guitar music.
Let's see. The awards that it won was best sound. It didn't win best music. Sadly, it should have. And should have won Best Music. Probably was nominated for that.
Once again, this is back in the day when, there were several dozen excellent films that you could have won Academy Awards for. Sadly, it's a very different time now.
You said Coming Home, and you said a bunch of other movies at that particular time.
Apocalypse
Do you think
Now
this... I don't think Apocalypse Now maybe in the next year or something. I don't think
it's roughly in that same period.
Do you think that this was that it deserved to win the Academy Award?
Absolutely.
So, you agree with that?
I do.
I mean, I don't know the other movies, so I can't specifically say. I know of Midnight Express. And it's also a really fucked up movie.
Yeah. And that's a good movie too. It's not quite at this level, but this movie set up Michael Cimino to be the next Francis Ford Coppola, and sadly, it just didn't happen for him.
Well, because next he did Heaven's Gate, and the problem is he was very known to go over budget. Mm-hmm. This movie cost originally $8 million, and the final budget was $15 million, so almost double its budget. So, for them to that was the problem, I think.
Francis Ford Coppola also had a reputation for that, but he generally was able to back it up with a really, really good film. But he also had problems getting financed. It was just a very different era back then in that part of the late 70s, early 80s. Unfortunately, it just doesn't happen now. And I can't remember the last Michael Cimino film that he did. It's
Sundowners or something like that.
Something like that. I forget. I didn't see it. It's a shame because he definitely has talent as a director.
I think he also did the Desperate Hours remake, and he kind of did he kind of fell off because of Heaven's Gate being such an overblown sort of and left kind of a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. Which sucks because Heaven's Gate is really good.
It actually is, and if you can get past a lot of the other problems, like when it originally came out, you couldn't see because just all the dust and all the crap that was in there, and that was one of the big problems. And they said, you blew all this money and you can't see the damn movie, But stuff has been cleaned up since then digitally, and
it looks amazing. And Criterion, it's going to be a Criterion watch for us. This year probably.
Yeah, it's kind of a flawed masterpiece, whereas Deer Hunter, there's no flaws at all.
No flaws
that I can think of.
So there you go. I think that's about it. I mean, we talked about everything. That's pretty much the big things in this movie. I mean, I honestly enjoyed it for my first time watching it. It's one of those movies that I thought, it needs me to watch it on a second time or third time or fourth time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I can't just watch it once and say, oh, this is good or bad. This movie it's like The Seven Samurai. It's a long movie that needs more than one take, because I hate to say it, there are going to be some scenes I'm going to always remember, the Russian roulette scenes, them yelling at each other, the deer hunting scenes, stuff like that. But then there's going to be so much that happened that I'm going to forget, and I'm going to have to rewatch it so I can remember how wonderful some of those other moments are.
Well, that, like I said, it's the mark of quality when you get a movie that you can watch all the time and still get new enjoyment from it. It's just one of those movies. It's fabulous.
Yeah. So there you go. I did The Deer Hunter, and I told him, and he was really excited to chat about it because even though this isn't Film Freaks, which it almost feels like at some point
it was on my list of movies to do on Film Freaks.
It's going to be it someday, I'm sure. Yeah. We can talk for like an hour later about it and still talk about different shit, you know, and stuff, and maybe with other guests. So it's one of those ones we'll eventually do down the line. But I figured let's start it off, kick off this thing with something like this. Join next week. We'll have a brand new one, and I don't know because things may change. I have no idea what I'm going to be doing. All I know is it's going to be a classic next week. So I have no idea what necessarily.
Sounds like a Hitchcock film.
No, because we already got hooked on Hitchcock. We do plenty of that, you know. So I'm not. I'll find a classic that I have not seen that I want to do, and so. Or
at least one you haven't talked about yet.
Yeah. Either way. Well, then that's the thing. It'll be the different stuff will be either ones I haven't talked about or ones I haven't seen. So there you go.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.